And when you're in there, because you have the access to the back end, you can do all of that. What I'm doing right now, which is making the relationship rehab a moderator. You have access to the back end, so you can do that. I can make add moderator, add mod. There we go. All right, moderator. And when you're in there, because you have the access to the back end, and they hearing all out, you can do all of that. Strategizing now, which is they in our business. So one of them is live. I got to make the other one go live. And I think it should work. So if that's live on that channel, that's the same as that channel. Crap, I got to move that. I think we're good on all channels starting out. What's going on, people? We seem like we're ready. Seem like we're live. So thank you guys for all coming over here on both channels. We do this once a week. We do this every Thursday. All channels. Crap. Starting out. Where's the talking coming from? Oh, there it is. Hey, everybody over there on TNN Raw Land. What's going on? Thank you guys for coming over here. Make sure that you share the show with as many people as you can. Click the like. Now, what we're doing is there's something that we have called The Guru and the Whore. And that is starring myself and my man Brian that you see on the screen for all the people over there on TNN Raw 2 who've never seen that. Brian, go ahead and introduce them because we're in an audience that we haven't been in and they may not understand what it is that we do. So go ahead and explain it to them, who you are and what it is that we're doing.
All right. Well, what's going on, everybody out there in TNN Raw Land? I'm Brian Redmond, also known as the Doctor of Discussion, also known as the Relationship Rehabber. And when I'm with my man Tommy, I am known as the Guru, and he is known as the Whore. And we got our channel, and basically what we do is we talk about relationships. We talk about the things that we need to do to become better versions of ourselves, and just build a platform that we got here so we can actually reach out to you guys to help you guys be better, and we can learn from you and you can learn from us, and it's just gonna be wonderful.
All right, and guys, if you could help us out, we need 10,000 views. I know it's difficult, but we need 10,000 views on this show. So for all the people who are watching the show right here on TNN Raw 2, and I'm going to keep on, because what we're going to do is end up having to shut down the chat room on TNN Raw 2 so we can get you guys to go on, because the chat room that you're seeing on the screen is not TNN Raw 2. The chat room that you see is what I just put in the description box, and that's where I'm going to need you guys to go. So if you could, make sure you click the like button here and over there, and make sure you go over there, say hi, click the like. We want to get, right now it's only 27 views on the new channel. I would like to get as many views over there as possible. So if you guys could migrate from over here, and the link is in the description box for those who come a little bit later, just go over to the other side. That's it. Go over to the dark side.
Yes. Take your place by my side. Strike your father down.
So we need you guys to go over there. We need you guys to go over there and click subscribe, because if you're wondering, the things that you're writing right now are not showing up on the screen, because only thing that's showing up on the screen are the people over there. And it's gotten up to 50. Thank you. Everybody just migrate over there. And if you could, when you go over there, just put where you came from, TNN Raw or whatever. When you go over there, just make sure you shout us out. And again, the more people that go over there, the quicker we'll get to 10,000 views. And when we get to 10,000 views, I think they'll give us a couple of bundles of weave. I'm not really sure, but like, I don't know. But YouTube said we need 10,000 views over there. I think I thought we should be able to get 10,000 views in one show, especially if it's a good one. So what I want to do is migrate all the people from TNN Raw 2 over there. What's it, Tommy? You ain't nothing nice in a good way, man. Let me tell you something. First off, how you been? What's been going on with you? I can tell you, I had a shock today. I went to go get some boxes from a PO box, and when I went to go get the boxes from a PO box, a black woman stopped me and said, because I had like a shit ton of boxes, because everybody sends me gifts and stuff. This is one of the gifts I got today: a Transformers Optimus Prime shirt.
Yeah, man.
So what happened was, I got these boxes, and I got my daughter in the car, and I'm walking out with these boxes, and this woman says, "Are you Tommy?" I said,
What?
"Yeah." I saw she was older, and then she had a really dark-skinned son. I thought, "Oh, Lord, no." Lord, nah, no.
He said, "Are you Tommy?" You said, "It ain't mine."
You know what I'm saying? I was like, curses, not again, not again. I don't have enough rules for this little nigga, I don't. It was horrible. So I said yes. You know, when people catch you off guard, you're like, oh, you shouldn't say yes. You should say yes. And I was like, yes. God, dog, I told you not to say that. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, right? And she's talking to me, and she says, I watch all your stuff, and I don't think you should say the things that you say. I said, really, bitch? That's how you feel. That's how you feel.
You all your boxes.
You know, that this is how you feel, bitch, while I'm standing here. And Arizona wasn't no punk today. It was like 113 degrees. So I'm standing out here, the sun just beaming down on my melanin. My melanin is on fleek. So melanin is fighting them shits off, and
my melanin levels is at critical.
Yes, my melanin was like, Captain, we're at 40%. They couldn't block all that shit. The shields was going down.
We're losing shields, Captain.
So I was like, when you get this shit, and you know when it's hot, when you start to get those beads of sweat on your fucking forehead, like you've been picking cotton all week, and it's just running down my head. I'm standing with these boxes, and my daughters are right there, and I'm trying to be rude, but she was telling me, God put a light on you. And I was like, yeah, it's called the fucking sun, bitch. Let me get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Talking about.
And you be blessed.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay. So I said, she was like, you just shouldn't be so hard on us. At first when I watched you, I thought you were like, counter intel. And every time they say that dumb shit, I just want to scratch my head. What the hell is counter intel anyway? Or what's the other one they like to say? That you're an agent and these things like that. Yeah. And then she was like, but God has given you a powerful voice. And I think you could be so much bigger and greater if you did positive stuff with your voice. Why do they keep telling me this? What the fuck does this mean? People you don't know telling you that you could do something greater with your voice if you start speaking like they want you to speak instead of what got you where you are.
That's just what we do as people, man. We always think that we know what's best for somebody else, and we're more inclined to give our recommendations and our advice to somebody else before we even take them ourselves. Plain and simple. That's just what we do.
Well, and okay, so let's move on to this other little piece. She continues to talk, and we were talking about the Bible, and I said, well, Jesus was considered a heretic of his day. Don't compare yourself to Jesus. I said, why not? She says, I could not compare myself to Jesus, and I didn't understand why I couldn't compare myself to Jesus. I said, if he's supposed to be my father, then that would be a shame if my son couldn't compare himself to me. What would that look like? Why do you think people say you can't compare yourself to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, or any of these people? What made these people untouchable? You can't talk. Please explain this to me. What does that mean?
I believe that we tend to just turn certain people, especially our historical figures, we go from a point of, looking at them as far as leaders or trailblazers or whatever you want to call them, to point to we start to or tend to make them like gods in a sense. And we have that type of reverence for them. And a lot of times it's like we see way more into who they are or what their message is, and we pay more attention to them being up here on a pedestal as we do to like paying attention to their message. And it's like some of the things that, like when people talk about Martin Luther King, what's the first thing people say? I got a dream. And it's like that was just one of his many speeches, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the message that those people have, we don't even really pay that much attention to him anymore. We just keep this figure of just saying he was one of our great black leaders and he was assassinated and killed or whatever the case may be. And it's like we just look at the image and the idea of who that person was, and we just put them up on a pedestal, and we don't really like go into their message and what they were actually saying. Because if you really did pay attention to what they were saying, even like with the way you said, like comparing yourself to Jesus, logically you would say, well, I can see why you would say that. You're not saying that I am Jesus. You're not saying, yeah, I'm Jesus.
Right.
You're saying that what I do is a lot like Jesus. And it is. It's like you get a message that you are bringing out to people, and there are plenty of people that hate you for whatever reason that they hate you for. And it's like they dispute it. They want to try to tear it down. They want to tear you down. They want to kill you. They calling you all types of names, whatever the case may be. But they have no real factual evidence as far as what it is that you're saying as it being a bad thing, as opposed to it just being an opinion.
Like, and here's the funny thing. Those people had to get where they are based upon the fact that whatever they did made you view them the way that you view them. That's it, period. So if I'm doing something and you tell me God has put a light on me, why would you then turn around and tell me, but I can't say how great that light is or possibly is? I think that's one of the weirdest things. So I'm sitting there talking to this woman, and I said, look, first off, I'm not religious, so you can say whatever you want to. I can compare them to myself as much as I want. But number two, I can also tell you that what we're having is you trying to tell me the best way to do something I grew on my own, something I built on my own. And that seems like it's one of the hardest things for black people to understand. And then she brought up, of course, money. I understand you got to feed your family and you do and say a lot of this stuff to get money. And I said, let me stop you there. And I'm tired of you niggas doing this. This is why the world hates black people. Number one, and I'm just going to say it. My daughters were on Facebook, YouTube today. And they were showing that they were learning how to play the instruments and stuff. I had messed around and let my daughter learn how to play just the basics of the drums as I got on YouTube and found out. YouTube's a great source. While my daughters were live, they're not bothering anybody. And I just went in to check in on them to see what they were doing. You know what my daughters were doing? Or what the people were doing to my daughters, my kids? An 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I'm not going to say the clown's name because it's just like the women. They're so desperate for attention, they'll do anything. So I'm not going to say their name. And the more they mess with my kid, the less I will ever speak to them. So you did good before when you used to have me making ethers or something back and forth to you. I will never speak to you now. I will never speak your name. I will never allude to your name because you're doing this. Do you know they were over there telling my daughter, how does it feel to suck your daddy's dick? And they didn't mind letting me know who exactly it was doing it. So apparently I would make a video going off on them.
Yeah.
An 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. They're trolling children. For what end?
That's absurd, man. Wow.
Black people doing this. They ain't white people over there in the chat. It's black people who want me to make an ether video to them. Or that want me to say some crap to them. Black people.
Man.
To the point of where my children had to stop what they were doing and beg them to leave them alone. One of my daughters actually said, my dad has his own channel. If you don't like him, why don't you go mess with him?
Yeah.
And the idiot's been chasing me for 4 or 5 years, all of them. None of their YouTube channels have grown. The nigga done got kicked out of his house with his girlfriend. His daughter looked like she done ate. His daughter's like 20-something, but he right at 40. The nigga he can't pay child support. He can't pay rent. Live in his mama's house. Got his dead brother's car. Everything that you think of. Then he started telling people, y'all say Tommy's name every day. but he says my name every day. He found a reason to bring me up in his crap, hoping to get my attention, and I won't say his name. But the sad part is, why would you do that? Even if you claim you're standing up for little girls, and maybe you can answer this for me. If they're claiming they're standing up for black women, why do they keep fucking with my daughter, my mom, my grandmother, nothing but women in my family? Why?
I think it's because, man, the fact that they don't understand it. Well, they do understand. They understand exactly what it is that they're doing, and they want a piece of what it is that you have. And it's just like a person who will just do anything just to get a certain response or to get attention from somebody. Mm-hmm. And they are at that point of desperation to where they will just forego their moral compass and harass, intimidate, and just try to bully even a child to get a response from an adult. So whatever their asphyxiation that they have with you, it's an obsession to the point to where they've lost their moral compass, and they'll do anything. They'll do anything. And at the end of the day, the only thing that can stop a person like that is it takes not just something from you, but it takes other people to say, you know what, to just discredit that person altogether. But because there's so much ratchetness in especially on the internet, and people, you know, are internet gangsters, and they think they can do and say whatever they want, then they just perpetuate it and they just continue to do it. And it's sad that it's come to that. And it's like, because I don't know what I would do or how I do know what I would do. It's like, you on the internet, so it's nothing you really can do if somebody was harassing my daughter at the end of the day. But it's like, at what point does somebody just realize and just say, hey, I need to stop and do something else? I need to maybe go after somebody else or something
right.
like that. 4 or 5 years into it, it's like, man, you beyond a loser. You sick. Something wrong with you.
But then the dude got like 9 kids by like 7 different women. And he's not with them. He doesn't do anything with them. He doesn't do anything for them. He's literally trying to be a professional on YouTube. And then if you listen to how he tries to make himself be, it's exactly, he's trying to be me. Everybody knows my affinity for Tupac. Next thing you know, he got a picture of Tupac on the wall. Everybody hears my music. Everybody knows my parodies. Next thing you know, he calls himself the Parody King. What the hell?
Wow.
Then the next thing you know, I do ethers. He's the Roast King. Then the next thing you do know, my background is in radio. Listen to him. Oh, my background's in radio. I used to work for so-and-so. I did radio. I've counseled people. Then it was the next thing. When he saw I did counseling, he turned around. You know, I've counseled people in the past and they paid me. Nigga, you live with your girl. And then she kicked him out. Now he lives nowhere. He drives his dead brother's car. I couldn't, if my brother got killed, there's no way in Hades I could sit there and drive his car.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I let it sit there. I couldn't get in it. But he go around acting like it's like a 1996 Mercedes. No shit. You flossing a 96 Mercedes. I don't know where they do that at. But This man, for years, have literally tried to ride my coattail. He would go after people and told them they coons for having me on their show or talking to me or doing anything. Every 5 seconds, they go after these people. So now you want, and I haven't said your name, haven't said anything about you, haven't bothered you. So now you fuck with my children, and I have to think about the state of black people, and it goes back to what that woman was trying to tell me. When she was trying to tell me to be easy on black people, why would I be easy on black people when black people try to stop you from getting somewhere, and then when you get there, they tell you you owe them something? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and many of you guys have experienced it in your family. They didn't do anything to help you get where you are. But as soon as you got there, what did they do? Tell you you owe them. And that's crazy. Now, right now, people are, there's some beautiful people, women. When I walked out with all those boxes, it literally was people would send me a bunch of boxes. Some people were sending me checks through the mail. I didn't even know people could do that. And I don't fuck with checks like that. My account, next thing you know, it bounced, and I owe that money. I don't need that. But people were sending checks, gifts like the shirt, hat, Father's Day cards. It was amazing. It's always amazing what the good people are doing. But it's sad to watch, and that's why I wanted to come up with the idea of this show about broken people. Yeah. Because I listened to that woman, and she was trying to impress me, telling me, well, you know, my son's dad is he's a celebrity like you. He was in music. He's done stuff with Snoop Dogg and stuff like that. And I'm like, one, why are you trying to sell me that you fucked a dude that was important when you was young?
Right.
Number two, it's hot. Let's get out of this sun. I don't want to talk to you. I got kids in the car. Why are you just walking up on me like this and having these long ass conversations? But number three, why would you tell me what God's purpose for me is? Judas had a purpose. Do you understand that? Didn't Judas have a purpose in the Bible?
Yeah.
If Judas had not done what he did, Jesus could not be who he was. Is this a fact?
Yep.
So what if my purpose is to spark the counterbalance to me? The positive guy who says, we got to stop this. There are beautiful black women out there and we need to highlight them. Let me ask you this question. Why is there no one who hates me that's just saying, well, if he's got big saying negative shit about black women, I'll get big saying, I'll prove that black women are positive by saying positive. I never have to address him because I don't dress the positive guy. Have you seen, when I came out, there were all kind of niggas making money talking positive about black women. Did you ever see me go on a jihad or a crusade saying, y'all wrong, y'all ain't shit, y'all blah, blah, blah? I've never done that.
Here's the thing. We, and I'm talking about black people, we have this culture of secrecy and cover up. We are so dead set against airing out our dirty laundry, if you will, and being transparent for whatever reason. Everything that we do that is bad, everything that we do that is just detrimental to us as people, as a community, as a culture, as a race, we don't want anybody to know about it, and we don't want to talk about it. Everything is hush hush. When you talk about the things that you talk about, there is nothing that anybody should be saying about it unless it's something that's not true.
Thank you.
One of my things I always say to people, because people sometimes will say, well, you saying this or you saying this, or sometimes you too harsh with your words. I say, well, stop me when I'm lying. Other than that, let me say what the hell I'm going to say, because what I'm saying is the truth. Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth ain't what you want to hear, but you can't deny that. And when you get to the point to where you start to try to dilute or cover up the truth, that's where you get lost, which is why we are in such a bad shape today as a people, because we don't want to talk about the ratchetness. We don't want to talk about the hood life. We try to make those things that are detrimental to us as being a good thing. Like how we've, turned around the word nigga, if you will. We said, taking that word and say, yeah, that's our word now, and it's something good, and we make it in our word now. Can't nobody else say it in this. Why not just leave that word where it is and just say, hey, we just gonna be done with it? But we didn't. We adopted it into our culture. We indoctrinated each other with it. We put it in our music. We put it in our everyday speak. And that's just what we do with everything else. We have taken we take dysfunction to the point to where it's a bad thing and we know it, but we try to rationalize it and make it good. And we try to make it to where it's just a thing to where it's just how it is. And we don't want to try to change it, because if we do that, then we have to admit the fault in it. And that is definitely one of the things that I am dead set against. This hiding, covering up, not talking about it, keeping it hush hush. We ain't got to tell everybody our business. That is the bullshit that keeps us where we're at.
It would be nice if we had more people who would say, and I've been asking that since I started. I've been asking, well, if I'm wrong, why don't you guys do me a favor and talk about where I'm wrong? I even told her, I said, ma'am, I invite you to come on my show. And you can talk about everything that you're trying to say right now. And you can explain to them or whoever why it is you think that I've done something wrong, what it is you think that I've done wrong. And I had to go ahead and shut off the chat room over there in TNN Raw 2 because apparently they're not listening. So people over at TNN Raw 2, there's a link in the description box that if you do want to chat, you'll click that link If you don't, you'll just sit here and watch. Because I'm not going to argue with y'all and keep on pressing the button saying, hey, come over here. And they just stay over there, act like they don't see it. So you can watch the show from right there at TNN Raw 2. But if you want to be a part of the chatting that you see going on the screen there, you'll click over to the link is in the description box. I can't even put it in the chat room. I flooded my own chat room, and them motherfuckers asked me, why am I flooding the chat room? I told them to go from here to go to there. They asked me, why am I flooding the chat room? That's how jackass most people are. They're stupid. So I just shut it off. Now I won't see nothing you damn say. If you want to say something, you'll go over to the other one. If you don't, you'll sit there and then watch it, which probably is better anyway. All right. Let's get to the show topic, shall we? The topic is broken people. When you think of a broken person, Brian, what do you think? What do you think would make an individual, i.e., quote unquote, broken?
So when we talked about this idea, one of the things that stuck in my mind was saying, like, man, the fact that we're talking about just being able to be in a stable relationship and being broken, I said, well, how do you determine who's broken and who's not broken? And I came to the realization to say, at the end of the day, we are all broken to some degree. Mm-hmm. And being in a relationship with another person that's broken it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. And I think that the key to that is understanding that you're broken, first of all, and then being willing to do the work to heal or to repair or rehab, yes, your brokenness. Being able to put yourself in that position to understand where you're at, what's wrong with you, and where your opportunity for improvement is, I think is critical to being a broken person. Because if you're a broken person and you understand what's broken about you, then I think that you can actually put yourself in a position to where you can be in a relationship with somebody else. And if that person is in the same place that you are, then you all can understand why you do the things that you do. Because a lot of times, and people say this all the time when it comes to relationships, well, we have a problem with communication. We can't communicate, or he don't communicate, or she don't communicate. And that's not necessarily the problem. It's the way that the communication goes and the way that the communication is broken down is what the true problem is. So if I understand that you're the type of person that you curse a lot, and that's something that you want to change, but you do it. And if I can understand that you saying the word bitch and hoe and all that kind of stuff all the time, if that's something that you have, that you do, it's not necessarily an attack at me, but it's something that you have learned. It's a learned behavior, and you understand that, and you're trying to break it. Then now I can be more understanding to you when you do say it, and I'm not going to focus on, well, you always say a bitch and hoe. And it's like, I can say, well, you know what? I understand that he has a problem with that, and that's something that he's trying to fix, and he's working on it. So I can let that go. And I can actually hear what it is you're trying to say to me, because I'm not focusing on the initial shock of being, in a conversation with you and all you're saying is bitch and hoe, bitch this and hoe that. Mm-hmm. So I think if you can put yourself in a situation to where you understand that you're broken and you know what it is you need to do to help repair your brokenness, that you can be in a relationship with somebody that's broken, and you can make that relationship stable if you both are willing to work at it.
Well, here's the thing about broken people. I will talk to you about a situation you maybe can help me out. And then I do want to get your opinion on Mr. Airy. I know I told people I was going to let them call in, but I want to let it sink in for another day. I'll let people call in and call on that separately tomorrow. But he came on the show, and a lot of what he spoke about, not only himself, but others, seemed to be very broken. My thought process of broken is that the only time you see something functioning is when you see it dysfunctional. That you can only be a part of something that's drama filled. That you can't see something through. That when things go good, like Reese Bobby on Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
The shit going too good. I got to get myself thrown out this Applebee's. Like I got. And
well, hell, Bobby, I was high.
You know what I'm saying? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You can be first, second, third.
Yeah,
hell, you can even be fifth.
Yeah.
But you look at something that's actually real. I was speaking to a young girl, and we were talking, and we would go from being in a relationship to fighting, a relationship to fighting, relationship to fighting. And I started to ask myself, why are we fighting so much and then breaking up and making up? And I realized the sex was always better with her when we were fighting, when we were arguing. When everything is calm, it's not cool. And I remember I was like that too, and still am in ways. I'll chase after girls that don't want me and will walk away from ones who do. When you think of that dynamic, what is it about us, people who are broken, that makes us run away from stability and run into the fire, run into the burning building? What is it about us that intrigues us like the moth to that flame?
I think it's, first of all, the learned behavior. I think it's something that when you grow up in that type of environment, you begin to identify with that's how you relate to each other. So it's just like when you grew up in a household where people are very loud, where you do a lot of yelling all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's like when people are in a house or an environment like that, it becomes so prevalent to them and it becomes normal to them that they can't be in a quiet house. They can't be in a quiet space because they're used to the noise, because the noise is what makes them feel comfortable, because it's a part of their environment that they grew up in. So it's like with the back and forth that you will have with the makeup to breakup, what that really does is it increases the passion and it intensifies your feelings. Because when you go off on somebody, your blood pressure's raised up, you're excited, you're sweating sometimes, you have a point to where you're at the edge where you're kind of like losing control. And if you do it enough, you become so accustomed to it that's where you're at. It's like revving up your engine. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as opposed to driving at 20 miles an hour and driving at 85. It's like you don't feel good unless you're driving at 85 because you're so used to driving that sports car. So it's like when you're in a relationship like that back and forth is what you like. It's the exchange and how you both engage each other in conversation. And it just so happens to be that when you do that, it's at that heightened moment when you're arguing. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you want that roller coaster. You want those lows, because those lows will get you back up to those highs. So it's like you begin to think that, hey, if we get into it or while we're into it, or I can go off on her because I know she ain't going nowhere, and I know after this we're gonna have some really good sex. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be great, and it comes to where that's what you identify with that sexual part of it is how you. It's how you make love. It's how you express yourself sexually and show that person how you love them. And it's just that, and that's what, when you said before, that dysfunction part becomes the point to where that's how we function. We can't function unless we're in dysfunction, because our environment has been dysfunctional for the majority part of our life, or since day one in some instances.
Yeah, and like, here's like, you could tell I'm broken, and I'm also like a frustrated person. Like, I turn the chat off on the other thing, then I turn it back on, and I turn it back on just to, oh jeez. I turned it off. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna for all the people over there in the other one, I'm going to, everybody over in TNN Raw 2 who keeps talking after I keep telling you where to go talk at. After I put the link in there, I'm going to block you. So I'm going to give you guys, I know it takes 2 minutes for it to go over there. Everybody, and if you are a moderator over in TNN Raw 2, do me a favor. I'm just going to be a dick. Everybody who speaks over there, I'm blocking you. Everyone who speaks over in TNN Raw 2 right now will be blocked. And I'm just going to have fun blocking every person who comments, because I literally put the link in there and said, if you want to chat, go here. If you want to chat, go here. So everybody who comments will be blocked. And don't ask me to unblock you, because I won't. But that kind of frustration, and to me, when you hear me doing these stories, the majority of us are so broken that we get a kick out of shit like that. Like, they got a kick out of going to my daughter's page and saying shit that would get you murdered in real life or arrested. That they're saying, oh, I want his daughter to see me say you suck dick. So he has to answer to his daughter, what does that mean? So his daughters can feel bad when we call them names while they're just sitting there just playing the drums. So I ask you, what is it that they get out of continuing the dysfunction? Because at some point in our lives, we all realized something was dysfunctional, right? Even if you grew up in it. So what are they getting out of it?
Well, I disagree, because a person like that, you think, let's think about this. You have an adult who is actually spending his or her time literally terrorizing a child. So let that in itself, not even looking at the content or what it is that person is saying, or how, the fact that a person has made up in their mind to say, I'm going to say this to this child, knowing that it's inappropriate, but they don't care because there is nobody to challenge what it is that they do. And that's that thing that we have to where we'll say, oh, well, you know how they is. You ever have that person that's just really that person that you just say, why the hell does that why are you doing that? And some people will just say, oh, you know, man, you just gotta excuse her, man, or you gotta excuse him, man. That's just how they are. And nobody challenges that person to the point to where they're not going to tolerate it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a person who does that, they think that because there's nobody to challenge me, there's nobody to check me on what it is that I'm doing, it's okay. And I can rationalize it because I'm so selfish to where I'm trying to get what I ultimately want, which is this interaction with this person, which is for this person to say my name, to do a video, whatever it is that they ultimately want from you. They have sunk into the point to where they want to do whatever it takes to do that. And because nobody's checking them on it, then they're able to rationalize it in their mind and say, oh, well, that's okay. I know why I'm doing it, and can't nobody else judge me on what it is that I do and why I do it. So that's why I'm going to do it. And until we get to the point to where we start, and that's that whole accountability and responsibility piece. When we get to the point to where we will start to do that, regardless of who you are or where you're at or whatever the case may be, when we get to that point, that's when people will stop doing that. That's when people will begin to realize that what I say and what I do as a person, it matters, because somebody's going to say something if I'm doing the wrong thing. Somebody will shame me if I'm doing or saying the wrong thing. Because at the end of the day, some people in certain situations, if they laugh something off, or if they try to make light of it, oh yeah, I'm just fucking with them. I don't really mean it, but I'm just fucking with them. And when that other person that's there say, oh, okay, well, go ahead, then now you condone it. You going along with it. You like an accomplice in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's just like how we as a society now, when we see something go wrong, the first thing that we do is pull out our phones and record, as opposed to dialing 911. Where do we go? When did we start doing that? Like, how does that happen? You see somebody getting ready, you see somebody pull out a knife, and the first thing your first mind is to pull out your phone to record instead of 911.
The video I showed of the girl getting stabbed, they were out there doing that. And again, broken people. As I spoke to a young girl, and she was talking about how she had a baby at 20. And when I said it to her, she said, that's not young. She honestly believed that that's not young. Broken people. Yep. What would make this young girl want to be a parent? The woman who was crying in court had her daughter at 18. Her daughter had a baby at 18. These things weren't the problem. Broken people. Vic, whatever the fuck his name is, up in Chicago. Vic Mensa. He was more mad at a dude for talking about the people who got killed instead of the people who killed the person. That woman was more upset at me for the video I did than she was at her daughter for setting several people up, getting them robbed and one shot. The brokenness that goes on allows a woman to walk up to me and tell me I need to do something to make her feel better. What is one thing that we can do to even identify that something is broken? Because from what you said, a lot of these people don't even identify that it's broken. It's just norm for them, or the attention. Getting the attention means that what they're doing is worth it. There's nothing broken about this. What is it for an individual? What would you say to people who are looking for a friendship, a relationship, or anything, to recognize that an individual they're dealing with is broken?
When a person is at the point to where they will whore themselves out, if you will, for attention. It's that attention factor to where if I'm so selfish and I crave attention so much to the point to where I throw my moral compass out the window, I throw reasoning out of the window. I just black out and I just do stuff. Those people that you see on the internet and on these news reports and stuff that do that, they're doing it for the attention. The person, like the chick that set the house on fire.
Yeah.
That chick did all of that for the attention that she would get for being the chick that went to that house and burned that house down. The chick who was recording it, she did the recording for the attention that she would get for being the one to record the chick that's doing this, burning down the house, for the attention that she's doing it, that she's gonna get for it. We want to be notorious in our community for doing something outrageous, for doing something crazy. We want to be known as that person that, man, don't mess with him, man. That nigga crazy, Joe. We want to be that guy. And that's just where we've gotten to as a community, because the person who's crazy, for some reason, gets the most respect. The person who will go off, you can't tell me nothing, I do whatever I want to do. Y'all don't know me. The person that does that is the person that, as a community, we tend to say, oh, I'm gonna let that person chimp out and wild out, do whatever they gonna do, because I ain't gonna say none to that person. They crazy. It's like you said, the guy who got mad at the guy who was talking about the incident in Chicago, but you ain't mad at the dude that did it. It's just like if somebody did a news report on somebody that I'm close to or that I love, and you did a report on it and I didn't like it, I'm gonna be so focused on the cats who did it, I could care less what you're saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when you did the what was that? The chick who got caught on fire, the chick from Memphis.
Yeah.
When you did that, I watched that whole thing and I said, now, if that was my family, the only part I'd have been like, he bogus as hell for was that burn, baby, burn. That disco inferno. When I heard the drums and the guitar in the beginning, I said, hell to the no. I said, if I'd have seen that, I'd have been like, he bogus as hell. I can't stand that.
Like, I can see people disliking me. Seriously. I can see people hating me to a certain extent. I honestly can. But I don't see you trying to kill someone that's reporting a story and then laughing at what they see. I don't give a shit, because we laugh at all kinds of crap. We talk about all kinds of crap, and these are people who are dying that we see. There was one video of this woman who fell, and she hurt the shit out of herself. But the way she fell was so damn funny. I was showing my daughter was showing her friends. That woman hurt the shit out of herself. But it was funny.
Yeah. And it's like you have to realize that everybody ain't gonna feel what you feel about something. So it's like, just like the dude, the bear dude. I'm sure that dude that died on that audio, or that dude getting killed by that bear, I'm sure his family was like, oh my God, that was just the worst thing ever. But to somebody who don't know that dude, somebody who ain't got nothing to do with that, I laughed. I was like, do y'all hear this nigga hollering like this? I never heard nothing like that before in my life.
And it was going on for so long.
It's like, man, but then again, I'm rationalizing. I'm like, why the hell is this dude out here living with bears? Bears and humans are not meant to live together. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? You're putting yourself in that situation. Hey, if that's what happens because of it, so be it.
He played a stupid game, and the game show host brought him his prize.
Exactly.
It was just as stupid as the game.
Exactly. And it's like, that's life though. It's like something that's personal and something that is, near and dear to your heart. It's just that. It's near and dear to your heart. Other people will not understand it and not feel it the same way you do. Plain and simple. But at the end of the day, there has to be a separation to where you can understand that, hey, what this person does and what this person is doing is not a personal attack on me. He's doing what he does, period. Just like the news who come and shoot, or just like the paparazzi who follow people. They doing what they do. And the fact that you are just one of the people that they follow, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, listen. Now that we say someone can recognize what a broken person is, here's one of the problems that we have. We tend to fall in love and want to fix people, human beings. So that other person that's broken, we want to be the cause of them being repaired. What do you tell people who want to be that person that is I'm going to repair this person? I think they're a good person because I've done it several times where you see the good in someone. We do it with our children. Sometimes when your children are out there fucking shit up, but you see the good in them, you remember when they were 3 years old, you gravitate to almost like the Florence Nightingale effect. What do you say to those people walking into these relationships doing that?
Well, I actually got a great response to that because that's something that I have been guilty of myself. And you have to realize that I think that you can help somebody, but you can't take on the responsibility of that person's being successfully healed. It's not your responsibility. It's up to that person to, first of all, be willing to do the work to change, and it's going to be up to that person to actually complete it. Now, you can support that person, you can help that person along, but you cannot be that person that says, hey, I'm going to fix this person. This person's going to be right because I know they got some good in them and they can make it happen, and all I got to do is just show them how to do it. You can't be that person. You have to be able to put a person in a position. When a person is in a position to change, the best thing you can do for that person is to just be that support person. And that support person is saying, hey, if there's something that you need from me and I can give it, I will. However, I will not be the person to do the work for you. So it's just like if somebody who says you have a drug addict, person is strung out on heroin or meth or whatever the case may be. Can you help that person? Yes, you can when that person wants help. You taking that person to a detox center, you taking that person to NA and that person don't want to go, you defeating the purpose. That person is not going to heal. That person is going to relapse. That person is still going to do whatever it is that he was doing or she was doing because that person is not ready to change, and then that person is not ready to do the work. They just sit back and say, oh man, I'm sick, man. You know, I want to change, but I just can't, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. Then you know that person is not ready to change. So it's like once you get that person to the point or once that person gets to the point to where they're saying, you know what, I'm going to a detox center today, right now. I just want to let you know that, hey, you know, I'm gonna be gone for a while or whatever the case may be. Then now that person is willing to take those steps on their own to begin to make that change and to turn their life around, because you can't live life for somebody. So you got to let them go through that process. And we tend, especially with our children, we tend to try to shield our children from the process. We just want to shield them to the point to where we just say, okay, I'm going to take you from this bad and I'm going to put you in this good and hope that you flourish. And sometimes you can't do that with older children, especially. You have to let them go through so that they can learn the process, because if they don't, they will tend to repeat it all over again and expect mommy or daddy to come and pick them up and rescue them and put them back to where they want to be.
All right, so let me ask you this then. Have you ever been a person, and guys, we're going to answer the phones in just a second. Have you ever been one of the people who were either broken and were dealing with someone that tried to patch or repair you, broken in a relationship with another broken person, or not so broken in a relationship with a broken person? Have you ever been in any one of those three positions?
Yep, I'm gonna be transparent. My first marriage. So my first marriage, my wife at that time, she had a problem with communicating to the point of saying, well, the things that she actually was and what she wanted to become, she wasn't at a place where she was willing to do the work. So all she did was tell me that, yeah, I'm going to change this, and I know that I do this, and I'm going to make it better. I'm going to be better, and I'm going to stop doing that. And I believed her in what she was telling me because I loved her. And I thought she was the greatest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I believed in her, and I didn't watch what she did. I just listened to what she told me. And because I wanted to be the one to be there when she did turn those things around and when she did get better, I was willing to go along for the ride and do whatever it takes. And even early on, before we got married, I noticed that the issues and the problems that we had. But because I was so into her and trying to into the idea of fixing her and into the idea of who she could become, I listened to what she said and I didn't watch what she did. And she did the same thing. She never changed. And it was like, it wasn't until, 3 years down the line where I'm looking, I'm like, she's doing the same shit that she was doing before we got married. And it was like, as frustrating as it was for me, I had to grow and I had to learn, because I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, well, damn, dude, you saw that and you went along with it. You steady condoned it. You steady watched her do what she did.
Stop with that word.
What?
Condone. Let's talk about it, because I was trying to jump in and ask you, are we, and when I talk to a lot of people who come to talk with me, I say, enable. Are we enabling, in essence, a lot of people by trying to help them, by saying we're going to be there for you regardless? Are you enabling an individual? It's like if you tell your wife, I'm always going to be with you, rich or poor, sick or in health, no matter if you cheat on me or not, I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. Oh, never. Whenever you call. What you know about that, boy? I done went back, didn't I? You know it. You forgot that song even existed, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Oh, man.
So don't we, in essence, when we do that, give them carte blanche to say, it don't matter what I do, so I'm going to do what make me feel good, because after all, you gonna be there. You gonna be there. I'm gonna pull an Al Jarreau. After all, you gonna be the one to hold me in your arms. Like, that's what's gonna happen. So if we know, after all, you gonna be there, y'all gonna be there, you gonna be there. I made 2 songs into one.
Mm-hmm.
After all that, aren't you sanctioning them fucking you over?
Yes, I believe that if you allow, and this is just across the board as a person, if you are in the presence of fuckery, bullshit, debauchery, whatever the case may be, and you are a bystander and all you do is watch, then I think that you are a part of the enabling process. You are a part of, even if you say, well, that ain't me, I ain't got nothing to do with that. It's like there is an opportunity, and I think all the time, for you as a person to intervene or interject in some type of way. I just like, if there have been plenty of times when I've seen, a couple arguing or a couple fighting or something like that. Now, am I the guy to go in between and say, hey, you stop that. You let that woman be. She's a defenseless vessel.
Behave yourselves.
Right. I'm not that guy, but I will get on the phone and call 911 and say, hey, I just want to report, I get a female and male out here. They're arguing. I don't know if they got any weapons or anything like that, but you guys need to send a car out here. I'm that guy. And I think that if you just let that type of stuff just go on and you just let somebody just do what it is that they're doing, I think that you do give them carte blanche. You giving them that, hey, go ahead. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Like you said, if I tell you I'm gonna be here no matter what? What is that? What is that? What are you really telling that person is that you can do whatever type of fuck shit you want to do, and it's gonna be all good because I love you. Or the sex is good, and it's to the point to where I'm compromising who I am as a person and my own moral compass just to be with you and to be a part of it and have access to you and what it is that you do for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the rich dude and the poor stripper chick that gets with this dude and goes along with all his bullshit over the years and have all his kids and stuff. And now when she's 35 or 40, she's tired of him beating her ass and cheating on her. So now she gonna say, well, nah, I ain't taking this no more. Well, you've been going along with this for the longest time. You've been on board with this for the longest time because the first time, second
Stop
time,
saying that.
time,
You're going to make me sing the song. Stop saying that. You're going to make me sing the song. You said it twice. I said, he trying to get me to sing it. He trying to get me to pull out Billy Joel. I'm not going to sing. Whoa. I'm not going to do it.
For the longest time. Whoa. For the longest time.
I ain't going to do it. We're not going to do this. We're not going to sing the 4-part harmony. We're not. But you're right. Like, those people will put up with this stuff. And I always say, when you think, it's two reasons. You tell me what you think is the biggest. Either I feel that I can't do better than you, so I put up with it to try to get my hooks in you, and then think that, well, if I'm with you long enough, now you'll start to listen to me. Or is it because I'm honestly trying to help you? So it isn't that I think I'm less than. I think you're greater than where you are. I think it's a combination, or it's different for each one, but I think these are the only two buckets there are.
I'm going to throw one more in there.
Uh-oh.
Also, I can go along with the fuck shit that you're doing because I want access to your resources, or I want access to something that you can provide for me that I don't necessarily have right now. So I'll go along with that and forego my own moral compass until I'm able to do what it is that I want to do on my own. So stand on my own 2 feet until I have the resources and the finances to stand on my own 2 feet to do this, like getting married to you and then know I can get a divorce and get $500 million because of that. Then yeah, I'll go along with with the bullshit you want to go along with. I can wait 5 years. I don't know if that's, yeah. I'm gonna wait 5 years until this marital contract that we have has I've met the requirements of it, and then now I can leave and get $500 million. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll cancel my tour. I'll change my clothes. I'll have your child. I'll do all of those things until I'm able to say, well, now I'm in a position of power to where I can do what it is that I ultimately want to do. So it's like there's a thing to where you're using or manipulating that person or or manipulating that situation, or allowing yourself to be manipulated to get what it is that you ultimately want to. So I would say it's one of those three.
I can agree. That was a great point. And that probably was one of the biggest one, I think, and the one that I left out. So apparently I ain't good at my job. So don't go and don't even go and all you people who, I'm going to give you all people who signed up this week for do counseling with me. I'm gonna give you it back. I'm just gonna refer you over to Brian. I'm keeping the money, motherfuckers, but I'm keeping the money. I'm gonna refer you. I will
be assessing a fee as well for my services. So yes,
but
PayPal will be available.
You know, but you're right. That's the biggest one. I think we've gotten to the point in life where manipulation is the key, and I think one of the largest signs of people who manipulate is that they're broken. Like when you feel like you have to manipulate someone, not only is it that you don't view them in a good way, I think you don't view yourself in a good way. That's why you have to manipulate. Talk about that.
I absolutely believe that and that's one of the things about our young women, that they don't realize what type of disadvantage they put themselves at when they have children at a very young age, when they don't finish school, when they don't have a plan for their life, when they just sit back and just dream and say, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna be a nurse one day. No, when you 17 and you already have that vision to where you're like, okay, after I finish these 4 years of college, I'm gonna go ahead and go get my master's, and once I get my master's, I'm gonna go to veterinary school, then I'm gonna become a vet, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna work here and do such and such. When you have that type of vision and you can actually go along with that and follow through with that, then you've empowered yourself to be independent to the point to where you don't need a man to provide those basic things for you. And that when you're talking about like being able to provide food, clothing, and shelter, we don't put ourselves in that position at a young age to where we can do that because we're so caught up in somebody else doing it for us because it looks to be easier. and you don't realize that when you get, just like back in the day in my own neighborhood, you know, being the dope boy was the thing to do. Because if you the dope boy, you can do whatever you want to do. You can say whatever you want to say. Everybody riding your dick. You got the money, so all the chicks gonna do whatever it is you want to do. They'll share you. They'll be your side chick. They'll be the main chick. They'll do anything because you got the money. You got the power. You got the dudes looking up to you in the hood because you got bread like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're willing to. And as a young woman, you're willing to have this dude baby because you think that's gonna lock me in with him. And that's going to be something I can always hold. We'll forever be connected to this. I'll be forever connected to this dude and what he is and what he stood for. I'll be connected to that because I got his kid. Regardless of the other women that he cheating on you with, don't matter. I'm the baby mama. Like, and then when he dead and in the coffin, you falling out, talking about I don't know why they did this to him. He's a dope dealer. Dope dealers die.
Right.
Daily.
I've never understood that. Like they say, it reminds me of the woman. The two young girls, and I plan on doing something about them in the next week or so, the ones who put up the GoFundMe, who are just trying to be celebrities and trying to be known. And I think that's sad that they're just trying to be known. And they've admitted that we're just trying to see if we can get a TV show out of this.
TV show.
And then Ari seemed very excited about the prospect of TV show. He's going everywhere. He's getting on every show, including mine, which I'm glad he came on it. But I want to get your a short assessment of those two situations and how they would play into broken people, because this man is going around and honestly believes he's being a good father and he's helping these women by impregnating them. And those girls believe that, yeah, we're young and we got 6 kids between 2 of us and we both got the same baby daddy. Now we're in a relationship and quote unquote engaged. And they're all doing it in essence for their own reasons, to feel an empty, broken space in them that they could feel with something healthy. I think that's what we don't realize a lot, that a lot of things that are wrong with us can be supplemented with something healthy. Something as simple as people ask, how do I cut out sodas? And I told them, look, you drink water until you like it. What did that man say on the Iron Mask? Wear that mask till you love it.
And die in it. I was like, damn, that boy ice cold. Tell somebody that.
Wear that mask till you love it, bitch, nigga.
Love it. Then die in it.
But it's something was as simple as, I hate water. Water tastes like shit. But did it really taste like shit, or were my taste buds corrupted with the processed sugar?
There you go.
Food, being a vegetarian, every piece of vegetarian food tastes like shit until there was nothing else to eat. Then that vegetarian food was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And so I think if we started using that mentality of starvation, we could fix what's broken. What do you think about that approach? And I mean, starving out the bad. Like, if it hurts like a motherfucker, there's some crazy hoes that you want to just text, but the whole crazy. If you starve that by playing the drums, my daughter played those drums for like an hour. She thought that, and I didn't play them with her. After I taught her a couple things, she thought that was a shit. It took an hour out of her day that she could have been thinking about something else, that she could have been doing nothing. And that little bit of what she did could translate into something better and more positive for her that doesn't require her to attach herself to someone else. Because I think the worst part about happiness is if it's attached to someone else, you'll never be happy. What do you think?
I agree with that. But with this, there's a part of our community where, well, let's take this. So you talk about the Black Power cats, the Hotep cats, all of these people that are, pro-blacks, and all of these people. They always talk about the system, the white man, the machine. They doing this on purpose. There's a conspiracy. You have to realize that there is a part of society that is programming, right? And that programming, once you realize that, it's not necessarily a thing of just saying, okay, now I realize that I've been programmed. I realize that all this crazy shit is by design. Now what do? It's not a thing of just saying you can totally disconnect from it, because a lot of times you can't. But once you realize that you've been programmed, now you can put yourself in a position to where you can reprogram yourself. So like when you talk about things like media, the TV, what do you see on TV for our people?
Crap.
Love and hip hop. Yep. Yeah, love and hip hop. Basketball wise, New York, LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York. You get all these different reality shows. That's what you see. None of these reality shows, none of them show a true, stable family. None of them do. They all show debauchery. This person sleeping with that person. This person don't like that person because they said something at this party and they want to fight this person. So that's the programming that we're receiving, and that's why you have those young people talking about we want to get a reality show, because that's the new thing for all our black women. The new thing for our black women is to go out there and either get you a baby by somebody who's famous or get on TV by being ratchet as fuck. So because that's the programming that they have, that's all they want to do. That's all they aspire to be. So with that, if I'm gonna be a reality TV show personality, I don't need to go to college for that. I don't need to finish school for that. I just need to be in the right place at the right time and sleep with the right dude or sleep with the right dudes in order to get there. So that particular programming piece is crucial, because when you look at it on the other side, on the other side of the spectrum, are there any white reality shows where they're talking about stable families? Yep. One that comes to mind is the Duck Dynasty dudes.
True.
Duck Dynasty dudes, what do? They do stuff with their family. They do stuff with their kids. They do stuff with their own business. They're doing their own thing, and they're doing it their way. They got land. They got vehicles. They got houses, big, beautiful houses. And every show, what they do is come together as a family, regardless of whatever discrepancies they've had. They come together as a family, they pray, and they break bread together. Every single show.
It would be
so
nice.
Therefore,
if
I
we
have
had
something
that,
to aspire to.
So do you think now you're saying this, and I want to see where you're going with this, or just make sure. So you're saying that a lot of this stuff is aimed towards certain people.
Absolutely. And I'm saying that, that the way that you get around that is not going to be getting on TV talking about Black Lives Matter. It's not going to be going out here marching. It's not going out here saying, yeah, we need to go up against NBC. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to get, the way that you change that and you circumvent that is by being at home with both parents and you talking to your kids and saying, yep, you see that love and hip hop shit that you just watched? That's not real. That's not how life is. That's not what you aspire to be. That's how you change those things. That's how you say, we gonna stop watching that because it don't do us no good. That's how you change what it is that you're in, by starting to acknowledge it. Like you said with the food, I stopped drinking pop like I used to drink because of, I said, man, this pop is not good for me. It ain't doing nothing for me. What did I start doing? I said, instead of me drinking 10 pops a week, I'm gonna drink 5, or I'm gonna drink 8, or I'm gonna drink 4. And it got to the point to where I weaned myself off of it. We have to wean ourselves out of this fuck shit by doing things like this.
When it comes to Arian, I just want to get to you guys. And guys, if you want to go ahead and call in now to be able to talk about your relationships and speak with myself, the guru and the whore. And if you're watching it on TNN Raw, please click the link in the description box and come over to the place where you actually can chat, because everyone who tries to chat in the TNN Raw box is getting blocked. Now, I know you don't want to get blocked, so what you want to do is go over to the Guru and the Whore, and I keep putting the link in the chat room. If you would like to come over here, please do. If you don't want to talk, that's fine, but every time you say something inside of the chat room, I'm going to block you. Now,
I'm going to block you.
But
one person blocked.
But
two persons blocked.
But if you look at those two situations, the one with the girls, the two young girls trying to get on television, the one with Ari saying that he doesn't think it's anything wrong, and it really hurt me when he said, I don't know if you saw it, but one of the things he stated, he said, poor people make some of the best parents. All a kid needs is love. It doesn't cost much to raise a kid. When he said that, I said, that's the most irresponsible shit coming from a professor. That's why I don't like liberal professors. That's why I don't like liberal colleges. They teach you to speak around facts, and you got to understand, the man teaches statistics, and he didn't want to hear the statistics I was giving him. It was weird. When someone's nice and stupid at the same time, you don't know how to deal with them because they're really nice, but it's stupid as fuck. But what did you think about them? Would they fit in the category of broken, and if so, how?
I would believe so, because I believe that if you're in a position to where you're willing to do whatever just to try to, if your goal is to get a reality TV show and you have no experience in media whatsoever, then why are you trying to get there? And what are you willing to do to get there? You're going to definitely be willing to just not follow any type of morals whatsoever, because that's what you want, and you don't even have a plan on how to get there. You're just gonna do some fuck shit hoping that you can get a reality TV show. And it's like, what is your reality TV show gonna be about? You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have no real plan. You just have a dream or some aspirations to be something that you don't even really know what it takes to do. You don't really know if that's what you really want. You just want the attention that comes along with it. You want the fanfare that comes along with it. You want people to know your name when you walk down the street. You want to walk into a club and get in VIP. That's what you really want. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to try to get that type of notoriety and that type of recognition. We don't want to work for nothing. We don't want to build anything. We just want to fall ass backwards into wonderfulness and dreams fulfilled.
When you're dealing with a broken person like that, can that be fixed? Someone that just needs attention? Because I think a lot of us will do this thing called cheating because we need attention. One of the scariest things about me is, to me, is there was an individual and she's broken, but she's a sweetheart. And I just thought you could fix this broken person if you just show them stability. And many of us have done that, and you said you did it in your marriage. Many of us who were doing it must be feeling like, because we dealt with the one bucket, which was the biggest bucket, but I want to deal with now the bucket in which I was in. I felt like I couldn't afford a brand new Bentley, so I'll get one that's has some dents in it and try to fix it. Now, when it comes to a car, the car doesn't have a personality. You can fix it, but you and I are about the same age, so I'll throw another old pop culture reference to you. One of the first movies with a bigger budget with my man Tom Hanks in it, The Money Pit. Many of our relationships have become emotional money pits. You see where I'm going with this? And if so, can you elaborate?
So when you talk about an emotional money pit, we get into emotional money pits because we don't have the stable parental foundation that would allow us to actually assess that building or that relationship that we are going to invest our time, our money, and our resources into. So if we were more stable as people, if we were more if we had a better foundation, then we could learn from our parents how to look at a relationship and see what the benefits are and see where the work needs to be done, and to see if we can afford to invest enough time, money, and resources into this relationship to where it can actually produce a profit for us, to where that relationship is profitable. Because you can, at the end of the day, I've heard you say a bunch of times that you don't want your daughters to be with a guy like you, right? So what your job is at that point is to teach your daughters what it is that they need to look for in a man. And even though those qualities aren't in you, to say, at the very least, don't pick nobody that's like me. At the very least, you're willing to say that to get them to the point to where whatever it is that you're looking for, it shouldn't be me. You need to pick somebody that is better than what it is that I am. So you're giving them the best tools that you have at that time. And as time goes on, you'll get better and better at it. But you want them to be able to evaluate dudes. I know to tell a kid or a young girl at 13, hey, I'm letting you know right now, every dude that you meet, right now until you get older, until your 20s and your 30s, every dude you want to meet wants to sleep with you just to sleep with you. And they will tell you anything that they think you want to hear just to do that. All they want to do is have sex with you. What that does for a young girl at that age, it teaches her to understand what she actually is to other guys.
Yep.
But she has her father who is validating her and telling her that she's this wonderful princess and that he loves her and he don't want nothing from her. And all he's going to do is protect her. When a little girl don't have that, she still wants that male attention and that male energy. So what does she do? Well, if I get them the one thing that they want, the one thing they're asking for, maybe I'll get it.
Yep.
And they invest their bodies into a dude that ain't gonna do nothing to them but take from them and drain them of their youth, of their young bodies. They just gonna use
that
them
tightness of their damn
tightness,
cervix, and you know
exactly. Exactly. That's the reality of it. That's what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that part of them being taught that and being shown and to teach them how to evaluate these young dudes. It may not say that they may not make mistakes, but if they do make a mistake, they'll at least know how to say, well, let me go ahead and pull out.
And because I have to think to myself, if you're having a baby at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, if you're having a baby before you are established, then what is the reason why you're having this baby? And again, when I see a person who has them, then my next question is, how broken must they have been? Because like you have no idea how many black girls I've talked to, and I'm not lying. Like I'll talk to them, they'll be beautiful girls, and then I'll find out they have a baby. They'll be 20, 21, 22 with a baby. And then I'll ask them, well, what's the relationship with you and the baby dad? And the baby will be like brand new, be like 1 month old, or they might still be pregnant, or the baby's a year. And they'll be like, oh, well, we don't have a relationship. Or, you know how many girls I've heard tell me that their baby daddy was in jail for selling dope or killing somebody. It was like a bad crime. And I got to think to myself, like, I'm assuming you enjoy sex. But what is the reason why you didn't have any form of birth control? That you just decided, I want to be a mom at 20. I want to be a mom at 19. That in itself is a broken individual. Am I saying that correct, or you think I'm just adding something to people that may not be true?
I think that there is something broken in them to the point to where they are empty emotionally. There is a part of them that is empty to the point to where they feel that having this baby is going to fill this void of whatever it is. Whatever it is, whether it's that I want somebody to love me unconditionally. I want somebody to depend upon me. I want somebody that has to be with me no matter what, ain't gonna leave me because they just physically can't. I want that dependent, and I believe that if that person is dependent upon me enough to where they'll love me regardless of whatever type of fuck shit I do, they ain't going nowhere because they can't. They can't go. A 6-month-old baby can't say, I don't want to be with this bitch no more. Give me to somebody else. A 6-month baby can't do that. I don't like weave. I want a new mommy. A 6-month-old ain't gonna do that. They're gonna be with them and they're gonna depend completely upon them. And that's exactly what they want. They want that engagement of saying this person needs me to the point to where they ain't going nowhere because of who I am to them.
Then it becomes too much. It's too much pressure. When they know that that person can't leave, they now get the other side of it and saying, well, you have to keep them. They can't. It's like, I've dated broke bitches, and then broke bitches get on your nerve. Like, it's fun to be with them because they broke, so you have money to give them. And then it gets old because this motherfucker can't do shit. Like, if y'all say y'all just want to go to the movies, it's on you. Like, bitch, okay, I paid for the trip to Cancun. Least you could do is pay for the motherfucking trip to Jamba Juice. You know what I mean? and then you realize I can't even get McDonald's with this bitch without me paying for it. So now it feels like, okay, I'm being nickeled and dimed by somebody. So it felt good at first that the person needs you. Then it's overwhelming that the person needs you. And I think that's what happened to women who are young and they have children. It feels good that the kid has to be with you. No matter what you do, it always wants to be there. But then what happens? It's too much pressure because the motherfucker always want to be there. There's no way to offset it. Do you see that?
There's nobody there, and that's what happens. And that's the thing about being a single parent. There's a fanfare that comes with a baby. You get the attention from your family. You get the attention from people you don't even know. You get the attention of social media. You get all of this attention, but there's a work side of that to where you got to clean, feed, buy shit, take places, go here, get shots, go to appointments, that it is extremely overwhelming for one person to have to do and to take care of themselves at the same time. So if you, and when you are put in that position, you get so addicted to the fanfare part of it, the lights and camera and the action part of it. When you step out, y'all got on the same outfit, y'all both wearing this, we both got the same, we look like twins, and everybody say, oh, they so cute, it's so wonderful, look, the extensions are just like his mama's extensions. And when they doing all that nonsense, it's good then. But when you are at home and you ain't slept because you done work 12 hours at that job, and now little man want to play, and you like, God damn, it's 2:30 in the morning, I ain't been to sleep, I can't. Now it's frustrating because you by yourself.
So now we've talked about the broken people, and what I want to do is answer the phone, guys, and the number to call in right now is 213-943-3363. Call in and talk about broken relationships from any one of these angles or angles that we've been discussing, or whatever you've seen. And if you're watching on TNN Raw 2 right now, please do me a favor. Click the link in the description box that will take you to the place where you can actually chat, because everybody that's trying to comment on TNN Raw 2 is getting blocked. Please understand that. And I will not unblock you, because I'm asking simply for you to just click that link and go over to the other channel. Click that link and go over to the other channel. If you are commenting, we are blocking you. I'm just saying. So,
to everybody, I just want to say real quick to everybody over at TNN Raw, just come on and go with me. Come on over to my place. Come on over here, y'all. You ain't got to keep asking y'all this shit. Get your asses over here.
I had a song, a rap song that had that as the hook.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was the rap while I was rapping to this girl, because you know the original song has the girl talking in the background and shit while he's talking. There's a girl in the background saying, "No, I can't stay." Whatever. It's almost like I really can't stay. That's how he designed the song like that. So there's a girl singing in the background, but I switched it up to where I was in the background, and I was like, when I got to the chorus, and I said, she looked at me, and that's when she said, "Come all over me." Come all over my face. That song was jamming. I don't care what nobody say. That song was jamming.
Oh, man.
And I was like, "Wow, you want me to do what?" I was in the background saying, "You want me to do what?"
Why you do that? Why you do that? Yeah.
And it was a good song. I'm gonna put up all that old music. I'm putting up all that old music. That shit, because I like making fun when I was. That's why, like, when people see me do it, I've always done it. Used to do it in middle school. Like, I never heard the song the way that they were playing the song. I always heard something else, and so you just reminded me of that. But what I'm going to do is answer the phone lines, and the number is 213-943-3362. If you're talking on TNN Raw 2, please stop. Seriously. Go click the link in the description box, because I have no problem blocking you, and I will not unblock any of you. And I understand that many of you guys are friends and whatever it is, but it means you don't listen. And I am not trying to hear that shit. All right, anyway, let me see if we can go to one of the first calls. 323, caller, you're on the air. Talk to us. That motherfucker knocked out.
No.
I just opened the lines. I just opened them. I did. I just opened them.
That boy, he calling all the hogs too.
Jeez. All right, let's try this again. I'll hang up on him, and maybe he'll realize we don't even get a dial tone like that no more. 317, caller, what's going on?
Hey, Tommy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Um, so I'm gonna dive right in and talk
All
about the
right.
broken relation. Oh, and I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you. I'm sorry. Hello. How are you doing?
What's
And
happening?
nothing much. So I think a lot of the brokenness just does come. It comes from young ages. As you guys were stating before, it starts young minded. First, and I say that because of this, a lot of the examples that were given with the relationships, especially if you don't come from a two-person household, and if you are not coming from a two-person household, that relationship is stable within itself. They're not unstable raising kids, and I think that they're, when the child gets older, they're gonna, produce the same characteristics and attributes they seen when they were growing up. And I think nowadays with social media being so popular, everybody's so ready to, have these big, beautiful weddings so that they can post pictures and things of that nature and, say, look at me and my babe and all this other stuff. But then what happens when you have to, take off the pretty dress and the high heels and, everything that you decorated? What happens when all that's gone and you still have to go home and put work into being this person's friend, being this person's helpmate, doing what y'all need to do to get acclimated to grow old together and have a good relationship and have a stable, friendship with that, and then try to raise a child together if that's what you choose to do.
Okay, so let me ask you, where have you fit in the situation? Have you been one who's been broken and realized that you were in a relationship with somebody that wasn't? One. Have you, two, been in a relationship with somebody that was broken? And have you, or were you, three, a person who was in a relationship with somebody that was broken while you were broken? Be honest be as honest as you can.
So I have been in a relationship with someone that was broken, and I feel like that at the time I didn't realize how broken I was. And then as I started maturing in myself, I started realizing that we both were two broken people together, and we were married and trying to raise, children, but we still had so many issues going on with ourselves. And I think that when you are a broken person, you're unstable mentally as well as emotionally, and then, to have whole other human beings there that you have to, try to keep their mental status going. It's just not good at all. So I, once I realized what state of mind that I was in and what state of mind that he was in, that he was unable to come out of, because very long story short, my first husband, I found out, when I found out he was addicted to drugs, it was really, really harsh. It was really hard on me because I had never been around anybody that was even, doing drugs, because both of my parents were pastors, and when I was being raised, when I was being brought up, it was all about, it was God everything. And then my husband that I married, he was actually a pastor, and his parents was pastors. So it was just weird when I found out everything that he was doing, because I thought that he was all about the right, but when I found out he had a whole nother life, it was really, really crazy.
Now, Brian, isn't that one of those things that a lot of people run into, what she's talking about, which is they will put on airs to fill their void, but never fix their void? Meaning, you'll put on the air of a righteous man, because it's easier to put on the air of a righteous man when you know that you are not a righteous man. So you can cover up what you do. I think it's the same thing that all these people who claim to be for the kids who end up molesting the kids. All these people who say that they're for some. It's like you put on this air, and it almost allows you to do the debauchery that you're used to. Like, if you want to fuck more hoes, act like you don't fuck hoes. Is it not in our thought process to even think like that? Because remember, when we were kids, the girl who liked you or the boy who liked the girl, he pulled her fucking hair. He put chewing gum in her hair. It's
Right.
almost like we do the opposite of what we want. And what happened with her man was he wanted to fuck a bunch of hoes. The easiest way for him to do it is to act like he don't. Because the person who gets the most pussy in a church is usually the pastor, and then second in line is the deacon. Am I lying?
Is the deacon and the musician.
Yep.
And you're not lying, because it's usually the deacon, the pastor, and the musician. And it's so crazy because I think that a lot of black men that are in the church, they got the gift of gab, you know, and it comes natural. And so these
you
women,
see all the kids,
you know,
they got the gift of stab.
That too. So if you can, with the way that they already, you know, can formulate their sentences and then correlate it with the word of God, and you know how a lot of, you know, the black community is just so in love with the word of God, but not in love with doing what it says, you know, they go crazy over that. So it's like, you know, him, you know, pastoring or, you know, giving advice or telling people what they should do. I'm like, these people are not looking at him and seeing that he's not doing that. But with me being a first lady, you know, you got to sit there humbly and just be quiet and, you know, try to do your first lady duties without wanting to go off when really inside you're sitting in the the pulpit or the front row, like fuming, like you're a liar, like you don't live like this. You're delivering this good speech, but this is not how you live. So that broke me more because on the inside, like I wanted to explode and slap everybody in the face, but I had to be like, well, what do you think God wants you to do? So it was just a lot going on. And at the same time, be a good mom and a good example to my children.
Well, see, I think that one of the things that we've lost is when it comes to just leadership, with our men not being in the position that they are supposed to be in, it has, and our women being in the wrong position as well. It lets a lot of things like that, like being able to decipher between what's real and what's not, what's bullshit and what's, you know, reality. That has become so diluted, and it's to the point to where we don't understand what it is that we're actually doing. So when you were talking about, you know, your marriage where your husband was doing this and you know, you were like shocked that he was doing that and like, wow, I can't believe this is going on, because and this happens a lot because we don't have a lot of wisdom in our lives. We don't have resources of wisdom. We don't have those old heads, those old men, and those old uncles and our daddies and our granddaddies and our great granddad. We don't have that wisdom to pour into us. And even with the old school big mamas and all of those type of people, they had experience from life, and they could see, you know, bullshit ass niggas and ain't shit ass women. They could see them coming a mile away. And they could tell us those things. But because we have shied away from that, we went away from those type of things. We don't have that type of influence no more in our lives. So what we tend to do now is we tend to rely more on what we feel in the moment and what we think is our idea of our own happiness. We tend to cling to that and hold on to that as what's true. And that's the only thing that we take to say, yep, what I want in this marriage and what I want my husband to be, I'm believing God that he's going to be it, and I'm believing that he's going to do what it is he's supposed to do because I'm going to be the best wife ever. Well, how are you going to do that and you don't even have a sense of discernment to understand that you need to watch what a man does, and even though he may tell you something, you watch and see if he's going to do it. That's something that your daddy and your granddaddy will tell you. Girl, you see that nigga right there? That nigga leaning on that Cadillac? That nigga right there ain't shit. You see them other women that's over there? He fucking all of them women and they don't care. You ain't that type of girl. That's the type of wisdom that you need to hear, because that's going to put you in this position to say, well, just because I see a nigga with a Cadillac don't mean he a good man, or don't mean that just because the other women that's sleeping with this dude, because he do got a nice fancy car, that don't mean that's what I need to go after, because my daddy told me that I need to look for more than that. My granddaddy told me to look for more than that. My big mama told me to go for more than just that. And that's the thing that has become lost. And because of that, we make bad decisions and we don't realize until we 5 or 10 years or 20 years, and in some cases 30 years down the road, and say, well, damn, I should have left this dude a long time ago.
And you're so right. I totally agree with everything that you're saying, because, and the bad thing about it is I didn't heed to the warning, because even my pastor at the time was, telling me no and expressing to me, no. And my father was, and, everybody was telling me no. And there was another guest that Tommy had on his show. And she was like, we ignore the red signs. And oh my gosh, I wanted to call and talk to that lady so bad. She was so wonderful. And it's true. Like, the signs will slap us dead in the face. And because, like you said, we want what we want, we're being selfish and want our own happiness, knowing that that's not what we need, we'll turn the other cheek and act like it doesn't exist. Now, if church ended at 7 o'clock and we both left together, and then you're telling me, oh, somebody's crying, I need to go to their house and console them, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll be right here when you get back. And the consoling lasts till 2 in the morning. Like, what in my head wasn't trying to let me realize that, okay, April, they're doing way more than talking, but at the time, it's like, I'm thinking,
he could have been consoling her. He was just consoling her with his penis. Sex can be quite consoling now.
Yeah.
I know. And I mean,
now you can console any women with that dick now, girl. You can't knock that. You got to prove of it, but yeah.
And I mean, I realize those things. I realize those things now, but back then, I didn't want to realize them. I guess I just I wanted to believe that he was deeply rooted in the church, and he was deeply rooted in his path of righteousness, and I wanted to believe that he was happy, with me. And there's no doubt there's probably a part of him that was happy, but I wasn't fulfilling to him. And, by the time I got him to admit that, as you stated, we were 10 years into the marriage. Yeah. And so it's
And another thing that women tend to do is that when they do invest and they go all in, they take all their chips and put it right there on the table with this dude, and they get all in spite of what other people have said to them, and in spite of the negative things that they may have heard, they tend to be all in. And then when they find out, which can sometimes be quite sooner than what they may want to admit to, when they say, man, this nigga really ain't shit, because they all in, they don't want the embarrassment, and they don't want to say, well, damn, y'all was right. So they'll stay all in. And they'll stay in that spot, even though they know it ain't doing them no good. They unhappy. They'll put on that face and that mask every single day for years to come, and continue to have children, continue to just try to build a life with a ain't shit ass dude that's doing all type of fuck shit in your life, but you'll stay with him because you don't want your mama, your auntie, your friends, your girlfriends, your cousins, all those people that said, girl, he ain't the one. You don't want them to be right. So you're willing to stay in some shit that's totally wrong for you until you can actually process that and deal with it and say, yeah, y'all was right, and it's so bad now that I can't continue. I can't go on. So now I'm going to get out.
And I was scared. I was thinking that at first, because he was 8 years my senior, and I had, left my parents' home, and I was like straight out of high school, and I was scared because I didn't know anyone, but him, and so I was scared because I was like, I mean, he was everything to me. He was like my lifeline and everything. I mean, I heard his door, and I was jumping from wherever I was to run to the door and meet him. So I was absolutely scared. But I knew that I couldn't stay. I was like, I can't do this.
I want to say this to you. One, I want to say thank you. I know we got a lot of people that was on the phone that was very in depth. I love it when you call. I have fun when she calls. And I want to ask you this, Brian, before we go to the call. Can we blame the individual who is leading us down the wrong way? Or is that kind of something that's in us that's allowing us to be led? Because in order to have to be Florence Nightingale, you got to want to be a nurse. And when you wanted to be a nurse, there were things that came along with that, i.e. you may have some blood get on you. Going down this road, you have to understand that there may be somebody who just come in the hospital because you got a fat ass. Like if you're a nurse with a fat ass, do you not have to recognize that you're a nurse with a fat ass? Do you also have to recognize that people like fat ass, or a lot of black dudes might come? Like, there are a lot of white women from when I was growing up. They started to realize the reason that black dudes was talking to them because they had fat asses. Because the white dudes thought they were fat. I remember there was a girl in high school. That white girl had a big ass and no waist, but the white guy was like fucking fat. But the black guys kept saying, I want to holler at this bitch, and they didn't give a damn that she was white. They kept trying her. Are these things you should understand about yourself? And if so, why are so many people oblivious to it? Like the church, you'd understand, to me, the majority of men, that's why 70% of black churches, that number shows up in a lot of places. I want people to notice that 70% shows up in a lot of places. 70% of black churches are filled with black females and children. There's only 30% of black churches in the United States that have men in it. So if the men know that they're outnumbered like that, common sense would tell you, why are the men there? To fuck the chicks. If you're a woman, if you don't realize that if I'm surrounded by 70% chicks, if I don't fuck them, I'm gay. Just to be perfectly honest, you give me, if my house was full of if I let a woman come live in here with me and she let 4 of her sisters come live with us because they got kicked out, I'm telling you, for all you potential women who date me, I'm fucking 2 of your sisters. If I could fuck all of them, I would. I don't care what they look like. They're in my house, so I'm providing them electricity. They should give me some head. Like, as a man, just like a lion, I'm going to fuck all them lionesses. As a man, I recognize what's around me. Why is it that it seems like many of us don't recognize who we are, what we have, and what people want from us, and then we say we got used or misled?
Because I think that we as a people, and I'm talking about us, black people, we have made sex, we've put it at the forefront of who we are. Sex, who our sex and women giving it up and men getting it, that's like at the top of our list, especially when we're young. And because it's at the forefront of our identity, it causes us to make bad decisions. It compromises our judgment. When you can put sex off to the point to where it's not as prevalent in your life to say, well, it's the number one thing, it identifies me, it lets me know if I'm a man, it lets me know if I'm a woman, it lets me know if I'm good, it lets me know if I'm the most desirable, it determines the amount of attention I get. When you can take that and dial that down and put it to where, yeah, I like to have sex and sex is always on the table, but at the end of the day, it doesn't define who I am. Now you can make better decisions. It's just like when people ask me this question all the time, saying, well, is it okay to have sex on the first date? If you're a grown adult and that's what you both want, why wouldn't it be? What does having sex on the first date or having sex on the 10th date, what does that say about you as a person? It says absolutely nothing. It does not define you as a person. Now, if you have 10 dates and you sleep with 10 dudes in 2 days, that defines you as a person because you're a hoe at the end of the day. But being with somebody and having a conversation with somebody and engaging with that person to getting to know them, and if you have that attraction to them, and if you choose to both have sex with each other and you understand the boundaries of you doing that, it's perfectly fine. But like you said before, when you're talking about the women in the church and the men in the church, and it's just a bunch of women going and a bunch of men trying to sleep with them, then it's like that's at the forefront of who they are. That's what I define myself by, how many women I sleep with. I define myself by how many men desire me. So that's why I wear the mini skirt to church.
So that's the broken person. And it's funny that the people who are broken again are trying to have relationships with people, because what makes it horrible is not that, because I think that we've all been on the, I think I'm pretty stable side, and I think we've all been on the, yeah, I'm kind of insecure and kind of fucked up side. If we've had more than one relationship, as a matter of fact, and maybe you can tell us as a married man before I go to the next line, don't you kind of go from being with just one person? You don't have to be with a bunch of people. You can go from being real fucking stable through the early 2000s mentally to the middle to late 2000s, something happens and it breaks or shakes who you are or your confidence or what you believe you want to do. So in a relationship, I think you guys switch at times. One is the stronger one, one's the weaker, and go ahead.
Absolutely. You are 100% correct. I believe personally, and I've experienced this personally with me and my wife, we have to constantly, on a consistent basis, reinforce who we are and validate who we are to each other. My wife has to tell me that, man, she loves being with me. She loves the way I smell. She loves the way I kiss. She loves the way we make love. She loves the way I touch her. She has to tell me that, because if I don't hear it enough, then I'm going to doubt it. Just like I have to tell her, man, baby, it's the best. I love the way I feel when I'm inside of you. I love the way that I feel when you touch me. I have to tell her that, because those are the things that we need to validate each other, because we both want to make sure that we're satisfying each other. And when that is in jeopardy, then we will tend to say to ourselves, well, man, if she ain't enjoying it here, then maybe she getting it from somewhere else. Or if she ain't enjoying it, maybe she don't love me no more. It's like we both have parts to play. That's why it takes two to be on the same team. It's just like, you on a team together with each other, and you're playing this game called life together, but you have to help each other. Sometimes you can't shoot all the ball. Sometimes you got to pass and let that person get that shine so that they can have the confidence to know I can shoot and I can score if I need to. You have to be able to have those. You have to be able to switch positions sometimes to let the other do what they need to do so that they can feel wanted, they can feel needed, they can feel valid as a person, and that they are actually contributing to the team. Because if I feel like I'm not contributing to the team, what the hell I'm on the team for? If I feel like what I'm doing ain't helping us win, why am I here? It's just like when you have the so-called independent woman that is out making all the money, and she's making six figures, and she's doing all this. She has the car, she has the house, and she got the dude at home playing Madden, and she wonder why he fucking all the other chicks, because he ain't got no position on the team. All he is a dick. So if all you doing is using him for sex, basically, and he making you feel good, then that's all he relates to. Man, this is all I'm good for. I'm good at fucking. So what am I gonna do? I'm going to fuck. And if you're not here for me to fuck, I'm gonna fuck somebody else because I'm good at it, and they know I'm good at it, and they tell me I'm good at it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
And it gives me a source of pride and a source of stability. You are so right with that. And fellas, it's the same thing. If you treat your girl like the only time she makes you happy is when she's sucking your dick, you know what she's going to want to she's gonna crave? Somebody who likes her not only sucking their dick, but a couple of other things about her, which makes her feel better. So she'll go out and suck the side dude's dick, because the side dude know he's only dealing with her for a couple of hours. He never have to deal with whatever thing makes you neglect her or even regret being with her or whatever it is. He only deals with that great head. But while he's getting that great head, he gives her confidence of other things. He tells her a lie like, you about to make me leave my wife, this head so good. Well, she don't hear you say this head so good, you're going to make me leave work. She hear you say, don't give me the head because I got to go to work. So she knows she's good at that, and it seems like you're treating it like, well, at first you were okay with her doing it. Now it's like you got other shit to do. So she stops serving a real purpose. Same thing you said about that Madden King. Yep. Well, if you come home, you're tired from work, and you can't fuck as often as he wants you to, but he knows that's his only job. But instead, you come home and you complaining, he don't have a job, he ain't bringing no money in, he didn't empty the trash, he blah, blah, blah. So he goes and fucks the side chick. The side chick just won't dick. The side chick tell him he handsome while he giving it to her. The side chick hug him afterwards because she know he got to go home. Y'all don't even hug no more when y'all in a relationship, when y'all done having sex. You turn your back on each other. He done fucked this chick on the side that got up and made him a fucking sandwich. This bitch done crisp the bacon crisp, done cut the edges off the bread. The lettuce ain't brown. This motherfucking BLT off the chain.
And she brought it to him in bed. He didn't have to get up for it.
She don't ask him for the remote. Fellas, y'all are losing y'all girl because she has an insecurity, and sometimes that insecurity is being like it's a small, it's a small crack. And you didn't just stuck your hand in and was like, ah! and you didn't realize that was a dam behind that crack, and you don't open it up. Wow. So what happened is we're, instead of repairing that crack and saying, if I got some semen, I can repair that crack. And I know we're talking about maybe they shouldn't do that. But if it is a crack and you're in a relationship with that person already, sometimes the people are just crying out to us. And these are the two different dynamics we're dealing with. I'm going to let you say this and then answer another phone call. one of the dynamics is that we're making that bigger. But the other dynamic that we're not talking about is maybe that person shouldn't even be like, should you put a car on the market if you know the transmission is fucked up? We call that a lemon. You knew that was a problem. Many of us are putting lemons on the market. Are we not?
Yep. And it's like a lemon, a car that has a bad transmission ain't gonna do nobody no good except for a transmission mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have somebody that is well equipped to know, you know what, this dude's selling this car and this transmission is bad. I can hear when he started it up, or when I put it in gear, I can hear that noise. I know this transmission bad. So that transmission, he has enough wherewithal, he has enough knowledge about cars, and he knows what kind of car this is to say, well, you know what, you need to take $1,500 off of this price because I know this tranny is bad. I can fix it, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna pay you like the car ain't got a bad transmission in it, and then I know I'm gonna have to fix it anyway. So take that $1,500 off of it, and we got a deal. You have to know that, and the only way you're gonna know that is from experience and from wisdom. You got to have somebody that's gonna tell you that. Another thing too about when we were talking about that woman that's giving that great head on the side to that, I mean, giving that great head to the side dude. Another reason why she's doing that is because that side dude, he starts out with something small by noticing that she changed her hair at work. When he see her at work, he noticed she changed her hair. He noticed that she got on some different perfume. He noticed that she got a new dress that he ain't never seen before. He notices that little 8 pounds that she might have lost working out, and he mentions that. So now she's craving that attention that he's giving her by via compliments that she's not getting at home. Same thing for women. That dude who didn't clean up the house, but he went out and cut the grass and got that yard looking tight. You ain't said shit about that grass because you focusing on them dishes in the house. But at the end of the day, Miss Laurita across the street, she noticed that, like, James, that grass looks so nice. I wish you could cut my grass. And James is like, yeah, I can cut that grass. And I'm gonna drop this dick off too after I cut this grass. That's what happens. So it's like you have to make sure that you're doing that. But getting back to that point though, just keep in mind that the person who has the wherewithal and the knowledge and the experience to deal with somebody that's broken, then that's who that broken person is for. We tend to just say, well, the car look good, it got a nice, it's clean, but I don't know how to check it. But even though you don't know how to check it, you need to be able to have the knowledge to take the car to a mechanic to check it. Because if I can get that car to a mechanic and say, you know what, player, I like this car and it look good, I think it's what I want. But I need to take it to let my daddy check it out. I need to take it and let my grandmama check it out. I need to let my uncles check this car out. So I'm going to let me drive it for about 15, 20 minutes, take it around the block. And if I like it, I'll take it home. But I need a 30-day warranty on it. To have that type of knowledge so that you can protect yourself emotionally, financially, if you have that, then you can say, well, I can either get into this thing or get out of it. I can pass this one up and go to something else, or I can go all in because your daddy might say, hey, you know what? The little things that's wrong with that car, I could probably fix, or I could help you fix it, or I know your uncle could probably fix it, so it might be worth it. And that could be the same thing with a dude or with a chick. You know, yeah, this chick don't necessarily know how to really treat you the way that I want her to treat you, son, but she's willing enough to learn how to do that. And the fact that she's willing to do that because she's coming over, she's spending time with me, she's coming over and asking me what your favorite food is, and can I teach her to cook that favorite food? Now she's willing to learn, and I can teach her, so I can help her in that situation.
Okay, again, I'm writing over there. I'm telling y'all, there's something wrong. I'm physically writing into the comment section over there in TNN Raw 2, telling them, please stop commenting over here. Go to the other channel, the link. I'm telling you, these motherfuckers are ignoring me. They gotta be. This is the weirdest shit. Can they not see it? Yeah. Can somebody else tell me if you can see what the fuck I'm writing? Because this is starting to be irritating to me. They're talking around me. I'm asking them, can you not see what the fuck I'm writing? I know I'm a mod on my own damn channel, so I'm writing this shit there, and they're just talking like they don't see it. So I'm saying it again. If you're on TNN Raw 2, and you're in there talking in the comment section, I am going to block you. This is the stupidest shit. You got April sitting there telling G Ranks, what's up, G Ranks? I kept on talking. They just act like they don't see this shit. And then the person said, I thought you were talking to people who were advertising. I simply said, get the fuck off from over here. You didn't think I was talking to people who were advertising? I said, stop talking. Stop commenting over here. This shit is irritating. Motherfuckers can't be that stupid. Stop talking over there. Stop. Leave. Don't write shit else. Don't write. Jesus Christ.
Hey, look, people. Everybody that is in TNN Raw 2. That means if you are watching this and you are in TNN Raw 2, we are asking everyone, not just advertisers, not just the sometimers. We talking about everybody that has subscribed to this channel, TNN Raw 2. Everybody that loves Tommy and loves all of the things that he talks about and all the things that he does. If you are hearing my voice right now, then I am talking to you. Leave this particular channel and come to the Guru and the Whore channel. It is being posted right now as I'm speaking to you to click on the link and to come over here. Don't chat in this particular channel if you are in TNN Raw 2. Come over to the other channel to chat, please.
Okay, and the person said, I just got here and got bitched out for writing hi. You know what? I'm just sitting here and just blocking. This is stupid. I'm going to block all of you. And don't hit me up and say, don't hit me up and ask me. This is so dumb. And that's what I mean. Like, broken people will sit around and find, like, this shit enjoyable. Like, they're now saying, I want to be the person to keep on fucking talking. That's what they're saying now. Yes. I want to be the person to keep on talking. I want to be the person that says, I know what he asked. Fuck it. It's more fun being that person. And it goes back to the whole, that's why I came up with the term DNA. They're doing it now so I can say something to them. So I will get off the topic. I'm not speaking on the show. And I'm now talking to them.
Wow.
So I'm just going to ignore them from now on. I'm going to nicely tell people, if you're in TNN Raw 2, please click the link in the description box and come on over to the place where you can talk. That's why you're not seeing the things that you write go up and down on the side, is because we're not featuring this chat. We need people to go over to the other channel. We have a goal that we're supposed to try and meet, and that is of 10,000 views. So if I can get the people from my big channel to move over to that one, we will get the 10,000 views. If you don't want to help do that, I understand. Stay over here on TNN Raw 2. But you're not going to talk, and I'm going to block you. Simple. I'm not talking about people advertising. I'm not talking about people who fat. I'm not talking about people who dark skinned. I'm not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about anybody over there talking, saying anything. You're just going to be blocked. All right? Now, let's see what we can do. And I'm not going to delete their messages. I'm going to block their messages. I'm going to block them. Strategize. Don't. Thank you, man, for going to block them. Don't delete them. Block them. That's what we're going to do. All right. Let's see if we can go to some more phone calls. Let's go to 704. 704, you're on the air.
What up, Tommy? DJ Magic. What's poppin', baby?
Well, not much. Talk to us.
Hey, good show. I'm digging this. When I tell you I'm digging this, Brian. What's poppin', man? Love what you're doing. I'm digging
man,
this.
Thank you, brother.
Man. I'm trying to take notes, but what y'all talking so fast, I just said, to hell with it. I'm just going to record this thing and watch it later on.
You don't have us on speaker, do you?
It's a life lesson right here, boy.
You don't have us on speaker, do you?
Huh?
You have us on speaker, don't you?
No, I got you on the headset. Let me take you off this damn
headset. Yeah, because it doesn't translate well.
Here we go. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Talk to us. Wow, where have you fit in on this whole idea of being broken? And I know with what you do for a living, you run into a lot of people who are broken.
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy because I was kind of trained, being my father's son, how to deal with the brokenness that I deal with, basically, i.e., I being around so many whores, so to speak. But one of the things that I was wanting to talk, especially to Brian about, I'm glad you're on the show. I had I got a habit, right? And I got this from my granddaddy used to tell me to do it. So I do it now with females today. So they'll be like, well, magic this, magic that. I don't like this, I don't like that. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you a list. What is it that I do that you don't like? What would you like for me to change, whatever. And I'll literally write it down. I will literally write it down and say, okay, these are the things that I'm doing wrong as far as you go, so I'm going to change that. What the hell do I do that for? Now you're trying to be smart. No. I'm going to make sure I get it. One thing about me, man, I'm a perfectionist, and it kills me when I do it, but it is what it is. I am who I am. So I'll write it down to make sure that, like you said, okay, I don't like the fact that when you leave, the radio station, you go to the Waffle House. Okay, well,
right.
I'll write that down. Or I don't like when you in the club, all these women on stage or in the booth. I'll write that down. But when I write this down, now I'm being a smart ass. So I look at these females, I'm sitting here like, I think it's to a point that we are so broke, generation through generation through generation. It's like, because if the grandmother was 70% broke, it's like her daughter is 80%. Now we in the 90%, 95% range, and I think it's to a point now, I don't want to say they're hopeless, but it's bad. It's bad, dude. So
let me help you here. So my 4-year-old daughter, who is just the most wonderful little girl in the whole wide world.
I don't believe that. I got two that do better than that, but go ahead.
We're gonna have a showdown.
I'm gonna fight you over this shit, nigga. I'm gonna slap you in the face. We're in a duel, nigga.
So my daughter gets up at 8:00 in the morning on a Saturday morning.
My daughter get up too, nigga. And I'm sorry, I'm and nothing special about that shit, nigga.
My daughter get up too.
Daughter get you with the unguard.
Yeah.
Fathers get possessive of their kids. You ever see that nigga pull out a picture of his kid, his daughter? You be like, nigga, here behind, nigga.
So she gets up on Saturday morning and she says, Daddy, I'm hungry. I said, okay, princess. I said, what do you want to eat? She says, I want cookies and cream ice cream. I said, you ain't getting no cookies and cream ice cream. I said, you can have a waffle. You want a waffle? She said, okay, yeah, I want a waffle. And I gave you that example to say, you don't ask somebody who is not qualified to truly articulate what it is that they want or expect from somebody to say, well, tell me what it is you want me to do. Because at the end of the day, somebody who is broken, they ain't gonna know what they should be saying. They not gonna know what they actually want from somebody or want somebody to do for them or want somebody to be or be able to lay out their expectations. What you have to do is you have to interview that person in the beginning of that relationship, talk to them, ask them about their previous relationship, ask them about their relationship with their parents, and ask them what it is that they feel the parts that they played in their relationships, breaking down and the successes and the failures of their relationships of past. Because what that's going to tell you is what type of person that they are, and if they are even in a position to where they can take responsibility and be accountable for the decisions and things that they've done in their past relationships. If a person can't do that, they can't truly dictate to you what their expectations are in a relationship, because you can write down that list and do everything on that list that that woman will say. And what she'll wind up telling you is, or what she'll wind up doing later on down the line, he weak. He lame. He ain't got no backbone. You know what I'm saying? He a smart ass. He try to write down everything that I say and gonna say he gonna work on it. Girl, nobody want to hear that. Ain't nobody got time for that type of shit. So you got somebody who can't even appreciate the fact that you willing to work on you so that you can be able to meet their expectations. But they don't even understand that concept yet because they don't have no expectations for themselves that they trying to meet.
Man, boy, I wish we had an audience that could clap on that one, boy.
Yeah,
that's great.
He broke that down. I thought that was MC Hammer in this bitch.
it's crazy that you say that, man. Because like, when I was a kid, my dad, like I remember my dad used to tell me, he said, "Listen, before you anything in life," and I was 6 when he told me this. He said, "Before you anything in life, you got to be a man, and you have to be a man with some principles that you stand for, some the character of who you are, and the integrity of not to be afraid to be who you are. Anytime when people tell you that, oh, they're going to try to bully you, they're going to try to talk about you. If you stand on it and who you are, you can never lose that." He said, "Son, I don't care if you're 70. You remember what I taught you, you'll be all right." And my mom was sitting there like, "Yeah, he right, baby." And he was telling me and my brothers that when I was 6 years old, I'm 37, and I still remember that. So
exactly.
I actually feel bad
like this.
for
The impact that he had on you at 6. Imagine if he was never there. What would you have had to cling to and to stabilize yourself and to stand on as a foundation to build your life on if he wasn't there to instill that in you? And that's why it's so important to have both parents. I know you guys are used to hearing us saying, women be on some fuck shit, and you do. But at the end of the day, we say it to say that it's important for both of them to be there, because what you both do is give balance. Because just like women have fuck shit about them, men have fuck shit about them too. But together, if you guys are responsible and if you guys are stable when you get together, then you can raise a child and you can set an example for a child to where they can be just as stable as you guys should have been at that young age. And when they get grown, they'll be better for their children too. So it's like you have to keep that and appreciate the value in having your father tell you what he told you at 6, to see what it did for you as a 6-year-old and what it's doing for you today as a 37-year-old. It's priceless. And when we start to value that, that's when all of this stuff we got to change as black people. We got to support and uplift each other. That's the thing that we have to start realizing is invaluable to us, and that we will protect and go after at all costs to make sure that we reinstill that back into our lives.
I like that. Hey, thank you, DJ Max, for the phone call. Let's get to some more of them. Let's see, get these calls before we have to get out of here. 254 caller, you're on the air. We're talking about how or can a person in a stable relationship, can a person have a stable relationship with an individual who is broken? Caller, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Tommy? Hey, B, what's going on? This is Eric calling you up from Fort Hood, the great place. How you both doing, gentlemen? Hey, I will tell you,
good,
I like this. Good. I haven't talked to both of y'all in a long time. I wish you both blessings. I like to speak from a first person's perspective, and I can tell you from a first person's perspective, it was virtually impossible for me as a broken person to have a stable relationship. When I think about the words, because I'm real big on what words mean, to be broken means, for me, to be a person without hope and a person full of despair. And stability means balance and to have things in proper proportion. And so when I was a broken person, I think I shared this with you all before, and I know, hey, Soto Nation, there may be a lot of people that don't know my history, but I'm in a new marriage. We just celebrated our first anniversary on the 19th of this month. But prior to that, I was in a marriage that spanned a little bit over 20 years. That marriage ended due to the fact of infidelity on my spouse's part, and I became a broken person. I was a person who did not have any hope, and I was a person that was full of despair. And so I thank God, Tommy, this is your wheelhouse. Counseling is your wheelhouse. I don't want to expound upon that, but I went through something called solution-based counseling, and that helped me to become less broken and more stable. Now, in retrospect, I love my wife now. I wish that I had been a bit more stable going into this new marriage so that we can progress toward what we have as individual and common goals and move forward. But had I just jumped out of that brokenness and that instability into this, it would have been disastrous, gentlemen.
He's 100% correct.
Yep.
like everything he's saying is something that that's why I couldn't even interject, because when you're right, you're right. And as he stated, many of us are broken from where we were, and we carry that to someone else. And the biggest problem is when we carry that to someone else, we're actually wanting them to fix what someone else broke. That's the worst thing you can do. It is nobody else's job to fix what someone else in your life broke. If you have a broken relationship with your mom, your girlfriend's job is not to fix that. And you know what? A lot of people in relationships have found themselves arguing against the other person's mama, arguing against the other person's daddy, arguing against the other person's friend, arguing against the other person's ex.
That is so true, man. The thing, I guess the thing about what Eric is saying is that you winning for the simple fact that you are able to not only see it, but you also able to be transparent with it. And it's like that in itself, that little blurb that you just gave and just pretty much summed up, your marriage that eloquently. Look it up, niggas. Is what we need to actually perpetuate the goodness and the realness and all of the things that we are trying to overcome as a people, as a culture, as a community. Those are the things right there where you can actually take what it is that you were in. And even though you experienced it the way that you experienced it, you went through those emotions, you dealt with it. Like you said, you were in despair and discouraged to no end, but you were able to see that and see yourself in that and come and pull yourself up out of it to get into not just where you were stable, but to get into another relationship and another marriage to where you are now happy. That is what people need to see, and that's what people need to hear, man. That I tip my hat to you, sir.
Well, I appreciate it. And, I will extend this to you to not too much digress. But, and I don't want to get too personal with you, Tommy, but I would just want to encourage you because it disturbs me to no end. I talked to DJ Just Jay about it offline because I'm
it sounds like you about to get personal.
No. Listen, there was.
Where you going with this nigga? Where you going?
Okay,